We are joined by All Family Pharmacy pharmacist David Mackarey. Welcome to the show, sir. Can you start by telling us a bit about your background and how long you've been in the pharmaceutical field?
Thank you, Robert, and thank you for having me here today. I've been a pharmacist for
Cool.
almost 40 years here in Florida, practicing from all different aspects of the profession, from big box chain pharmacy, independent pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, and of course, independent private practice and specialty as well. And I'm also affiliated with the past president and board chairman of the Florida Pharmacy Association, as well as the Palm Beach County Pharmacy Association.
So your expertise has led you really through the changes of the medical industry in our country, and I'm sure globally as well. In your experience, what makes working with All Family Pharmacy such a wonderful company that is really beholden to those who are in need of this access to life-saving medications?
Great question, and I'm excited to be able to share that with you and the viewers. The pharmacy, All Family Pharmacy, is extremely unique in that we're able to bring back the practice of pharmacy, practice of medication, the dispensing, to help the patients get what they really need and to help have a better general wellness and being in treatment of any issues, conditions, therapies that they may need to desire. We're also unique in the sense of that we're not limited and restricted to certain procedures or protocols that have to be followed. We're allowed to do a little bit more, the traditional pharmacy of practice, if you will, and that allows us, I think, a much better success rate than previous years.
And break that down for us, that personal approach versus, say, a big chain pharmacy, and where that has changed over the course of the last several decades.
Basically, it means giving people real choices. We're not here to do any change the normal procedures for physicians to diagnose and to treat, but we're here to assist with some of the other ideas and concepts of the practicing to contribute to that and collaborate with them. We work with all licensed and registered physicians, and they have the medical freedom to share with the people and get informed consent. A lot of all the medications we do, obviously, are all safe. They have been, regular, normal procedures and everything through the FDA approval. But we also know and realize that there's a lot of medications out there that what you call off-label use that has been done for years and years of practice that we seem right now to have a lot more advancement, but unfortunately there's a lot of hesitation out there. And we're here to educate and help share that with our physicians to our patients for the best successful treatment and therapy out there possible.
And President Trump championed in his first term the right to try legislation, even executive orders, and really opened up that gateway to Americans taking control of their health care. How is All Family Pharmacy specifically doing that to give power into the hands of the consumer once again?
Well, we're a huge advocate of MAHA, exactly what it states, make America healthy again. So years ago, everything seemed to be on the right track with the health system, being able to, get the best health care available. Unfortunately, over the past few years, it hasn't been so great with that, as we all know. So we're trying to go back and see what we can evaluate. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We realize that we had a lot of great success, but there's so much more. Prime example, if something is, and I'm going to reiterate again, I mentioned off-label use. If we know that there's been some studies and research out there that there's a potential possibility of other medications contributing and helping and altering, to a positive influence of some other medical disease state, even though it may not have been FDA approved, if it's successful, we need to further investigate. We need to try that and develop and see what other potentials out there. As you may be well aware, a lot of drugs out there that end up getting FDA approval have started that way. They weren't necessarily being intended for that use, but they found out through trial and error that there was other indications for it. And lo and behold, these drugs came out and now they're being very widely used and very successful. So we're here to share that, as well as the main focus I'd like to say also is to help educate people regarding their health care. Education is power and knowledge is power. And we need people to realize that and bring that back to America again, especially for health.
Now, in addition to the pharmacies and countering that with All Family Pharmacy, giving you that true access to important life-saving medications, what if someone says, how does this compare to urgent care or anything where you could be facing something in the middle of the night and you need those life-saving medications? How is this the most beneficial option versus what else might be out there?
Okay, great question. We're certainly, obviously we all understand the need and the importance of an urgent care, minor emergency. They're all extremely, extremely important, and I don't think they'll ever be surpassed. But we're able to work with people on a long-term, regular basis. If they need a script and they're concerned about something, we can get it prepared for them. We have our physicians that are able to get the prescriptions for them. You're not sitting in a waiting room. You're not waiting for hours. We don't have that medication. We have to order it. Could you come back in a couple of days? We're able to access all that. We have overnight delivery. We also show the importance of not necessarily waiting till that important time where you're really, really sick, a loved one is sick and they need some. We want to also, the best thing, as the old saying is, to be prepared is so important. So we allow somebody to get the medications and keep them on hand, certain types of antibiotics and anti-inflammatories and antifungal, other things that are important to have, as well as other maintenance medications, but to have them available, to have them in stock. You're not worried about if you're going to run out. You're not worried when you go away on vacation. And as you well know, with all the natural disasters out there, God forbid something comes about and you don't realize that you're on your last couple of days of medicine, there's no power, there's no electricity, at least you're prepared. So at least, we have everything you can. You can order in a bulk quantity. You're not limited to the insurances restricting and putting, tying your hands, say, oh, you're only allowed a 30-day supply. We allow you to get, much more than that, whether it be a 6-month, whatever the doctor is okay with, for other medications, especially maintenance medications that most people will be on for the rest of their life. We're able to do that because we're not restricted, we're not limited, and our hands are not tied. And people just love that concept, to be in control and to have that freedom to be able to do that again.
And you will need a prescription for most of these medications, correct?
Yes, sir, of course. And that's where I mentioned in the beginning that all of our physicians are all licensed, staffed, registered within the United States. Our pharmacists, including myself and the other colleagues that I have, we have all that available. We provide that for you. So it's all, a turnkey process from the beginning. After you make the phone call here, the physicians that we set you up with, we get have the medications here. We ship them out if need be for overnight, and everything else. It's that easy, that simple. But yes, by law, it has to be through prescription. We don't change anything different regarding the laws with that.
And speak to us about ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, methylene blue, how these medications are very healthy and helpful for most Americans, but also why has some in the pharmaceutical industry turned their backs on these life-saving drugs?
Great question, and I'm glad you asked that. Those drugs have been around for years. So it's not something new. We're not wondering if it's going to be safe and effective, because we know that they are. They actually do have FDA approval. What we're trying to show, and to have the availability to our patients is that they're also used for other indications. Even though it may not have been FDA approved at this point thus far, it's still able to be used, and rightfully so, because physicians do have that legal right to use for off-label use, as long as it's under their supervision, to be able to try it for other treatments, other therapies. And we've had multiple patients using these medications for these off-label use with extreme, wonderful success. And that's why we just want to help educate, share that with our patients to know that there is hope, there's other availability, and there's options available to our patients and other patients out there if they so desire and they feel that it fits their need.
And as a pharmacist, would you recommend not only these drugs, but what other life-saving medications would you recommend to have in your medicine cabinet. So like you said, in case there's a storm, an emergency, in case you can't get those medications within minutes or hours of needing them, are there anything, or is there anything that you would rather have in your medicine cabinet ready to go in case there is an emergency?
Most definitely. The top ones, obviously, broad spectrum antibiotic. That way it covers majority of issues. So a nice broad spectrum antibiotic. Obviously, inflammation, you're in pain, something happened in that area. We have medications that I would strongly recommend as well for that. Anti-inflammatories for people. For also, and we do a lot with wellness, we also suggest in conjunction with the medications is supplements. We also recommend zinc and vitamin D and magnesium, other things that you can take on a regular basis to help your immune system and to help your body and prepare for any other ailments or disease states that may linger on or that have a problem. At least you're building up your body to its best possible form to help fight anything.
And in your expertise, oh yes, sir, in your expertise as well, what is the other item or items on the docket that you would recommend as a health expert for Americans to really take control again of their health care, of their own personal health? Because we rank pretty low in the industrialized world when it comes to a number of different items. Secretary Kennedy talking about chronic disease and the rise of autism, the rise of so many things that are affecting our everyday health. How do we get back to the society we once had back when Secretary Kennedy's uncle was in office when it comes to American health?
Well, I think, and I'm going to reiterate because to me it's so vitally important, is to be educated and to be informed. We have the technology out there to realize and do some research and hear what's going out there and find out some of the new things. I just think that people really need, and if they're not sure, reach out to us. If they feel they have a question or a concern, reach out, give us a call. We can help guide you. We can help recommend. We can suggest and obviously guide you to our physicians to further discuss this. But it's important to know that you have options and opportunities available to you. It's not just limited to the normal protocol and procedures that the doctors have their standard list that they go through, which is fine in certain circumstances. But sometimes the people need to realize that there's other hope out there, there's other avenues, there's other choices. And we want to make sure that they know that we're here for them for that. That could be majorly beneficial to all parties. Become educated, become informed.
Some great words of advice, David. Where can we find those either phone numbers, websites? How can our viewers get access to All Family Pharmacy?
Well, exactly what you just said, the name, allfamilypharmacy.com. And we're located in Boca Raton, Florida, in Palm Beach County. And we're here, 5 days a week. And if need be, we do have an on-call as well, after hours, because I know the United States with all the different time zones. But we're here. We have a phenomenal, great support staff. Customer service ranks is as high we do. We would take a lot of pride in our staff and our colleagues and our professional. We're really, really happy with the team that we have here. Thus the name, All Family Pharmacy. And if you'd like, you can mention this for a 10% discount, RSBN. On the website when you go in as a code to get the 10%. RSBN 10. I repeat that, I'm sorry, I forgot to add the 10. RSBN 10 to receive a discount on any of your purchases.
And we are sharing with our viewers on a regular basis. David Mackarey of All Family Pharmacy, an expert pharmacist on all this in beautiful Boca Raton, Florida. A great location to help make America healthy again. Thank you, sir. We look forward to having you on again. Again, David Mackarey from All Family Pharmacy. Thank you for joining us today on The Right Side of History.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it. Have a great day.